Runners Arena, and welcome into the Super Metroid Rando Weekly Race. We have featured here 4 runners: Sentient Flatbread, Fat Scott 25, Break Jake, and Iron Rusty. I'm Ferran Burgundy. I'll be helping to guide the action for you here as our runners are going to make their way through Planet Zebes, and we'll see how things shake out. And also want to give some credit and acknowledge behind the scenes to WJG999, who is taking care of not only the restreaming, but the tracking for 4 runners. And tracking for even 2 is a bit of a challenge, but 4 certainly is no easy feat, to say the least. So it looks like we have the countdown going on in the race time race room. So our runners will be underway momentarily. Now this is a hard mystery flag set. So we'll see how that fares in as it goes along here. So all 4 of our runners, it looks like, are going to be taking the same path to get the morphing ball, because that's really where their accessibility is going to begin here. You see our runners utilizing the moonfall to be able to go down the shaft faster. Iron Rusty with a slight lead, but only very slight. And there's only one location to have our runners pick up an item, at least at the moment, based on what they have, which is a whole lot of nothing. So we'll see here. It is, in fact, the Morph Ball. So the game being a little bit kind. So now we have a couple of options here, and we already have a bit of a divergence as Break Jake's going to check Construction Zone to pick up some power bombs. And meanwhile, up in the ceiling, we have an energy tank, as Iron Rusty looks like the only one heading in that direction. And looks like we have nothing in the missiles just to the right here. So that was something that I'll admit even I hadn't expected. So missing items. And that's where hard comes into play, apparently. Not everything is going to necessarily have an item, not all 100 of the checks. And yes, that is both a statement and an observation, as that is something that is new and foreign to me. Now, meanwhile, here in Billy Mays, we've got a set of power bombs, but wait, is there more? Yes, there is. Act now, and we'll add in an energy tank at no extra charge. Break Jake having a little trouble getting out of the room. That water is rather problematic, but is able to do so. Won't lose a whole lot of time on that. Oh, it's more part of the mystery settings. Okay. So now all of our runners having checked those, we're going to get one more check here in Blue Brinstar, and that's going to be a set of missiles. And now everybody doubling back here, and it looks like we're going to have some traversing through Green Hill Zone, the Sonic route here. And our sonic pipe missile is vanilla. There are a set of missiles there. So Sentient Flatbread, the only one of the runners who is traversing. Well, okay, it's now going to head on back here, and uh-oh. We've got a blocked door here. So now in Old Mother Brain, there's a whole lot of nothing. Meanwhile, ooh, look at this. We've got Plasma Beam in the Charge Beam location. And a set of missiles at the bottom. So big early advantage here for Sentient Flatbread. And Iron Rusty looks to be heading in that direction as well. Meanwhile, we've got a check at the 230 missile location on Break Jake's side, and it's a set of supers, our first super missiles we've seen in the seed. And there's a reserve tank up in the big pink top, and Sentient Flatbread's going to leave that alone. And we're hearing talk of possible soft locks. And now things are going a little fast and furious here. So we've got a power bomb up in Edecoons here. And our second reserve. Okay, we have a couple of saves going on Fat Scott's side. And a set of power bombs up at the top of Edecoons. Looks like we're gonna have a couple of gauntlet checks. No super missiles to be able to open the door into the, ironically enough, early super room. And we've got the need for speed in the gauntlet. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at the back of Gauntlet here, and well, I blinked and missed it, but no worries, as Break Jake's going to give us a look here. A pair of power bombs in the back of the Gauntlet. And Spazer required for seed completion, so this will be interesting. Oh, Scott with a very nice ability to kind of get onto both sides. There are the super missiles for Sentient. Oh, and a nice fly across from Jake. That explains why I didn't see any pickup at the Terminator locations, because there was none. Makes sense. Oh, and there is Wave Beam. Wave beam was at the bomb chorizo location. All right. Meanwhile, we have missiles on the moat. And we've got power bombs up top. Oh, man. All of our runners are certainly taking all different directions here. 230 had super missiles. Looks like power bombs at the mermaid missile location. Iron Rusty gonna go pick up his supers here. And Break Jake gonna try to get a look over into the wrecked ship. And that explains why those were not checked. Okay, now I'm following along here. We've got the wave beam for Iron Rusty. Break Jake able to do a save in the wrecked ship. And there's some power bombs which are going to be ignored at the spooky missile location. Meme Roop to get plasma to get wave, exactly. Nobody said it would be easy. Sentient Flatbread able to give us a look here. Ooh, there's Charge Beam. We've got Reserve and some Power Bombs. And then there are the Power Bombs up top here. Let's see. Scott, meanwhile, heading on up and over towards... okay, back in Criteria here. And Iron Rusty, meanwhile, going to give us a look here at Red Tower. So we've got the beta room. And that's got a set of power bombs. Going to leave that behind. Looks like both Iron Rusty and Break Jake are going to go into the Alpha Room. Meanwhile, we've got a Spore Spawn skip on Sentient Flatbread's side, and that is going to bring us a missile. Meanwhile, we've got Screw Attack and a Power Bomb in the Alpha Room. So that Screw Attack's going to be helpful. Scott recognizing can't get into that door yet. It's going to head on out of there. That's right, that was a missile at the Spore Spawn location, and now Sentient Flatbread gonna head on into the waterway. Does have the speed booster, and with the hard logic is able to give us a look. And for the efforts, a power bomb. Scott, meanwhile, trying to get a look at the climb supers, but is blocked from door access. And now Iron Rusty about to head into the gauntlet, and we'll be glad to see that there's speed up top there. Break Jake playing a little dangerously, but the ship's right here, and you would think is going to go ahead and do a refill. There's Iron Rusty's speed booster, and now Sentient Flatbread's going to head all the way down Red Tower. And we're going to get a look at our vanilla Spazer location, which this time around is going to have Varia Suit. So that's going to give us some access heading on downward. And there is Scott's Plasma Beam. Charging on across, and heads on into the warehouse. Okay, and power bombs in the hidden missile location in the warehouse. We've got a save here just in case there's a potential soft lock on Sentient's side. Jake's going to get that plasma, be rather thrilled with that, and well, there's a reset because it looks like we have random bosses. And that means that Kraid's location is actually going to have Dragon. Yes, Flatbread did save just before. And it looks like Scott's going to give us a look at the Wave Gate E-Tank. And that's just got a missile. So it looks like Scott's going to pick up the reserve tank as Flatbread heads on into a little bit of Norfair. We got the power bomb. And there's Space Jump. And a whole lot of nothing at the high jump missile spot. And I was looking to see what was in the Mission Impossible spot, but I didn't realize that Scott was without any super missiles to be able to open that particular location. And we see it's a set of power bombs. Meanwhile, we're already over in Bubble Mountain on Flatbread's side. As the mysteries continue to be solved, so looks like oh wow, the space, or the speed door, I should say, unable to be opened. We have the we have the power bombs just above. In the speed hall, but we won't know yet what is at that speed booster location. Alright, so it looks like we have a missile, as Flatbread's given us all the locations of things here. Missile at the double chamber missile location, and inside the wave beam, we've got the gravity suit. Rusty's gonna pick up his Varia suit. So this is looking fantastic here for Sentient Flatbread thus far. Oh, and it's going to utilize the wave and plasma to give us a look over in Croc's area. But that looks to be ice blocked in that direction, so we won't see much of Croc's area, but we can at least potentially see Croc escape. And it just has a missile. So Rusty just a moment away from getting the bad news that we have Boss Shuffle, and that what you think is Kraid is actually Dragon. And Rusty's going for it here? Oh, he's got charge and plasma. But yeah, how are you getting out? That is a great question. See, now Sentient Flatbread, on the other hand, with Space Jump, is able to get right on out. And the gravity suit, and, well, a lot. Now, Iron Rusty did save. At least I'm pretty certain. Let me see if I can go back and check here. That was, hopefully it was within the last minute and a half here. I believe that he did. also possible that Iron Rusty's hoping that whatever item is in here will be able to help him get out. I mean, even a grapple beam would be helpful at this point. But it's Spazer. And Iron Rusty has to reset. Has the knowledge, but that is it. So Kraid gone down on Sentient Flatbread's side, as Break Jake's in the ship, and it looks like wrecked ship. Looks like it's going to be normal old Phantoon. Yeah, Bread and Rusty were pretty much fighting at the same time. It was just quicker and easier for Flatbread because he has space jump, he has the gravity suit. So now it looks like we're going to see Scott with a fly across in a moment here, and does so. Meanwhile, we're going to get a check over in the ice beam spot on Bread's side. There's space jump for Rusty. And Spring Ball is at the ice beam location. Much to the dismay of MM2. Sentient not going to bother with the crumble shaft, probably because he knows it's major minor, so that's not going to really have anything of note for him at this point. And Break Jake dispatches of I'm being informed here, so Chozo statues have all the actual items. Oh. You see, I can barely handle Smrat. Like this, I'm glad to be able to assist, but there's a lot of stuff that is well beyond my knowledge grade. And, well, it is ice to see you as Break Jake finding the ice beam over at the wrecked East Super Missile location. And we just have a missile over at the west. Meanwhile, we've got a power bomb, and let's see what else is here in the bubble area. Nothing, and more power bombs. Meanwhile, I blink, and all of a sudden, Flatbread's in the worst room in the game. That's right, Jake doesn't have... Oh, okay, this will be interesting. Scott's going to be picking up his Ice Beam in a matter of moments here. Jake trying to avoid those spikes, understandably so. They do even more damage with neither of the suits on. Jake takes a fall. He's gonna give it another go here. And it's a missile. So we're gonna see, yep, resets across the board, and oh, Lower Norfair looks to be Ice Beam blocked as well. And Scott is going to get that news momentarily here. Actually, no, he's not, because, again, my unfamiliarity with these fancy doors. Something is preventing Scott from getting in there, but I don't know what. I'm guessing by the color red, a wave beam, maybe? Or a pink door? Pink, red. In fairness, Scott's screen is a bit tinted, so it looked red on there. So Jake is now in the attic, and Sentient Flatbread already heading through Meridia here. And there's a power bomb in the attic. And Scott heads on through. Meanwhile, Bread's going to head on out of Meridia here. And we see that there is nothing at the wrecked reserve location. We've got missiles in the sky. That's vanilla. And we've got maze missiles. That's also vanilla. Well, there's the screw attack now for Flatbread. And we've got the X-ray well down there in Lower Norfair over after Gold Chorizo. X-ray in the screw attack location. Not even going to bother checking Gold Chorizo. Well, let's see. Gravity suit was... Going through all my notes here. Was that the wave beam location? Alright, Rusty gonna skip out on it, probably because it's not gonna have anything of importance. Our favorite mouse check. Happy 50th anniversary yesterday. And an E-Tank. Ooh, what a time for that. Over on Jake's side. Let's see what's at vanilla gravity suit here. Just a set of missiles. Meanwhile, Bread working in the wrecked ship on the Fantoon fight. And Rusty gives us a look at some missiles of shame in the power bombs of shame location. And Rusty recognizes that the path to Ridley's door is blocked by an ice beam. Scott confirming that there's nothing up at Wrecked Reserve. Rusty, meanwhile, going back from that saved location. And now is going to head over to Croc, which I believe was also ice blocked, if I recall correctly. And just missiles in the Climb Supers location. So now we're starting to get a little bit of overlap here with our runners, all exploring things that the other racers have not yet seen. But Sentient Flatbread certainly looks to be in the lead of things here, and well, that ice beam will certainly help with that. And yeah, it looks like, all things considered, that is go mode, with the exception of an energy tank. Because you got to have at least 301 to get in there. 301 energy, and right now a maximum of 300. Although I didn't see if Flatbread picked up any reserve tanks, as I would imagine that might be part of it. There is the wave beam for Scott. Rusty now going to head back on in to take on Dragon at Kraid's location. And there's Jake about to get the charge beam. And does so. Scott's going to go take a look at the climb missiles as we know them. And yeah, is making a beeline for Lower Northair, now having the ice beam with everything else. So Rusty now equipped with plasma charge and a gravity suit. Should be able to make much quicker work of Dragon. The reserve tanks, we saw 3. One was in Edicoons, one was in Big Pink up top, and one was in Early Super's right side. And then there's a 4th yet to be found, potentially. So there is the Spazer pickup. Now here, as we approach the 40-minute mark, you can see that in at least a couple of our runners here, there seems to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency. Not necessarily panic, but definitely concern, as you can see the pace of the runners moving a little bit more frantically and frenetically as they recognize that time is growing short. So here's Scott picking up the charge beam as Flatbread back in the worst room in the game. Perhaps forgot for a moment that he had space jump, and is going to do me the solid of taking a look at our favorite mouse. And it's a set of power bombs. Oh, and Scott falls down the shaft. Yes, generic rodent mascot. Fully nondescript. All right, moving on. Well, there goes my invite back. So Rusty now going to head over toward Ice Beam, and we'll see that that has the spring ball. And Flatbread picks up the missiles of shame, normally the power bombs of shame, as Breakjake picks up the Varia suit. Had a little trouble there with the speed boost on the Metal Pirates, but not the second one. Yeah, Brett definitely looks to have the lead here. Jake is looking pretty good, and then, yeah, your guess is as good as mine between Scott and Rusty. So let's take a look here. We know that the bosses are randomized, and, well, it looks like only 2 of them have switched. So that means that in Meridia will be Kraid, and yep, so Kraid's at Meridia. Ridley is at Ridley. Fantoon is at Fantoon, and Dragon is at Brinstar. Yeah, the health a little bit of a concern here for Flatbread. Currently down to 74, now 44. Now down to 13. Oh. Everything that could be clenched is clenched right about now, and Jake has thrown a forfeit? Uh-oh. Oh, he took a death on Dragon and didn't save. Oh, no. And Sentient Flatbread is forfeited from the race. Jake just said, I don't want to run anymore, as we see here in chat. And well, just like that, the two who were pretty well in the lead at the start, I guess the deaths would have had them set back quite a bit. Forgive me for sounding a little bit surprised here, but that seems to be something that, like the randomizer itself, was unexpected. Now, also of note, there are a lot of runners in this community who are over in various parts of Europe. So while it is here on the East Coast of the United States about 6:15 p.m., for certain parts it's nearing midnight. And yeah, that is a great screenshot. That absolutely there, Jake. So we've got questions out to see if either of our runners want to be interviewed. Somehow I have a strange hunch that if they're dipping out on this early, the last thing that they want to do is talk about this, but it could also be therapeutic, so hard to say. Oh, yeah, fair point. Certain language restrictions are part of the channel's requirements. So, I can understand the hesitance to necessarily get into a voice chat and potentially be raw and uncensored. We'll put it that way. Oh, it's thundering and raining in Germany. I can imagine the feeling after this seed here. Well, I guess the one question, I mean, Sentient, you had a pretty good lead. Obviously, the death to Ridley. I mean, I guess the last time that you'd saved was more of a setback than you really wanted to deal with. Is that? Pretty much. Oh, okay. Yeah, just the timing was interesting. I mean, Jake had taken a death just before that and also threw up the forfeit maybe 45 to 60 seconds before you had. So it just has thrown me for and continues to throw me for a bit of a loop. If it was a tournament, you would have kept on, but for a fun race, redoing all of that isn't very fun. I would be hard-pressed to disagree with you on that one. But then again, I also save way more than I should because I am very, 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 very new at things Super Metroid. I'm much better at talking about them than I am actually executing them. So we have Rusty working on Fantoon and taking out Fantoon. Meanwhile, there is the Varia suit for Scott. Diddy Kong noting in chat, Rusty would say Rusty is ahead, doesn't think that Scott will find the charge anytime soon. Yeah, Charge Beam being in the Brinstar Reserve and Scott now getting the Varia suit and is first going to take care of what's going on here. Well, actually, wait a minute now. So Gravity is at Wave Beam, and he hasn't gone to get that yet. That's right, Scott doesn't know. Oh. Well, this could be a bit of an interesting pickle. But Scott is going to save. So here we go. Scott about to find out. Oh, hey, the bosses are shuffled and he's giving it the old college try here, but I don't think that he has a way out of here. If my somewhat knowledge of the game is correct. Can't really build up speed if you're running in the quicksand that is all of the water physics. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe Scott's thinking, all right, well, if this rolls as a space jump, then I'm good. But okay, Scott does have charge. And there's your reset. So yeah, it looks like until Scott at least gets the gravity suit, Rusty definitively has a lead here. Yes, Ghost Wizard, because his reset was to the save point, which was prior to killing that particular boss. Yes, he would have to go back through that area to kill it again, because otherwise, well, the position that Rusty was in would have been a soft lock. And now Scott is going to get the space jump and is going to be a little bit thankful for that. But again, that won't help without the gravity suit against that particular boss, a Dragon. Now, Rusty, with a bit of running speed here, is going to utilize the space jump and screw attack to go right on through that room. And I would imagine that Scott is also going to be heading down to Lower North there. And now chat with a discussion of where Grapple Beam might be. Either behind Ridley, behind Kraid in Meridia, or at X-Ray. The speed booster item we have not seen yet. That's right. And I believe that was a power bomb there in the lava. Yep. In the cathedral, I guess. And bubble missiles are a whole lot of nothing. Okay, I'm glad I didn't miss that earlier. Oh, it's a Spazer door. Well, that would explain why people haven't exactly doubled back for that. And now here is Rusty with the Ridley fight. And already in a bit of trouble. And now to confirm, yep, there is the Spazer blocked door. So that is something that Rusty can access, and might actually do so at the conclusion of this fight, should he be able to get past it. And is able to do so. And behind Ridley, we have an E-Tank. And now Scott's going to head on over to Wave Beam here, and we're thrilled to see the gravity suit. That's reminding me that there's no high jump boots found. Actually, only 2 of the bosses are moved around. Ridley was in Ridley's normal spot, and Phantoum was in Phantoum's normal spot, so it was just Kraid and Dragon that were switched. So it's a half-hearted boss rando. The effort that the randomizer took as far as switching the enemies was akin to getting a child to eat their vegetables. It was like, yeah. And nothing in the Three Musketeers missile location as Scott gonna head back, armed to the teeth and ready to take on and take out Dragon. So is Rusty gonna double back and check the... Oh, wait, maybe he's thinking about it. Or not. So we still don't know what's behind Speed. Oh yeah, all 4 bosses can be swapped around. It's just this particular time the Seed decided to not go through much of an effort. And it looks like Rusty is gonna give us a look here at Croc's area. Meanwhile, there's the Spazer for Scott. And Rusty apparently deciding, all right, it's go mode time. So Rusty now going to go back into Meridia. And I don't think we're going to really see any checks here. Oh, he's going through the back door. Interesting. And has the access to do it. Okay. And the back door was ice locked. And that's open because Dragon is killed, which is the check for that. Ah, clever, clever, Rusty. I mean, it could have accessed, yes, with Forgotten Highway, but this was the most efficient route to get there, I believe. Or at least the quickest route. I don't know how efficient it necessarily was, but... And here we go into Kraid. We've got the Kraid quick kill on Rusty's side. And that's got high jump boots. He gets an extra super for insurance. So now all Rusty has to do is get out of here, Meridia, and head on over to take out Mother Brain. He is in go mode. So Scott is working on Ridley here and has just taken Ridley out. Meanwhile, Rusty is riding the elevator on up. And is back in Crateria. Fourth energy tank for Scott. Rusty not going to bother with the save at the ship. Is just going to head right on over, and a lot of fervor in doing so. Scott having a little bit of trouble. Perhaps tried to jump the proverbial gun a little bit. And Rusty is here in Turian. And is just obliterating the Metroids along the way here. Quick Ice Beam, Super Missile. And the fourth of the 4 rooms has 3 more of the Metroids to go. And some rather swift rolling, and that is done. Now into the baby room. So make sure to give all 4 of these runners a follow: Sentient Flatbread, Iron Rusty, Break Jake 1, and Fat Scott 25. They have certainly shown off a lot better skill than anything I could do in this game, and it just goes to show that even some of the better players can be taken by the game at times. And if you'd like to give me a follow, you certainly can as well. I'm Ferran Burgundy. I'm the commentator for the race here today, and conspicuous by its absence is the remainder of the crew, and that is because the remainder of the crew apparently self-professed doesn't like to be followed, but still I want to acknowledge WJG999 taking care of both the restreaming and the tracking. Here we are in the Zeb room. Utilize the missiles here at least as much as possible. Is able to do so. And Rusty has a little bit of cushion, but at this point it's just 20 charged plasma shots, I believe, while avoiding the bombs and beams and everything else here. Already on the last phase here. Getting those catch-up beams as they are known. And did Rusty damage down too much here? I don't know how much was in reserves, but it might have been just out of instinct damaging down too much. Now let's see how far this sets oh no. And with that, Iron Rusty has forfeited from the race. I think it's just instinctive from runners that they're used to damaging down to 3 and didn't even think, like, wait a minute, I don't need to damage down here. Just stand pat and good to go here. And Iron Rusty has declined an interview. As Scott is awaiting Craig to rise out from the ashes, puts in chat, or puts in the race time chat, GG? Question mark. Scott not even going to bother checking and going for those high jump boots. Yeah, this is literally and figuratively Scott's race to lose now. It's still a gallant effort. It was just, it's one of those instinctive things, especially if you haven't played in a while, as you had mentioned, that you're just used to, okay, final shot, hearing the okay, this is where I damage down. And then it didn't even dawn on you of, oh no, I don't need to damage down. And then there was only but so much in the reserves. But, yes, that was, At least here in the broadcast booth, I figured it was academic. But that's why they play the game. Yeah, it looks like in Jake and Flatbread's case, they got a little bit crossed up with the boss randomizer and had respectively taken deaths that would have set them so far back that they just figured it's not worth retrying and going on through here. So now Scott going to save at the ship. Now that's an interesting question. It's kind of hard to say, in hindsight, but if let's say Rusty had saved at the ship prior, would he have continued? Yeah, no, of course, and that's the difference here. Yeah, didn't feel like redoing all those, but as soon as I saw there was only 2 energy tanks there, I went, oh no, this is a pretty big setback. I didn't know exactly how far it was set back, but more than desired to go back and play through. Oh, almost. Oh. Well, at that point, if you had saved before Mother Brain, okay, then you just have to go back through, do the Zeb skip again, and that's just maybe a couple of minutes here. But I mean, it's challenging to look back upon and debate what could have been done differently. But I think Scott has seen that all 3 of his competitors have forfeited. So, I mean, I would hope that while he's trying to finish this as quickly as possible, that there's also a sense of, all right, the only thing that I'm racing at this point is the clock. And, I don't need to worry about another person coming in and, sniping me for a place here. Yeah, the ammo is a little dicey, yeah. I believe, yes, Scott has seen that all 3 of his opponents have forfeited. So he does know that all he has to do is finish, and he will take first place in this race. And Scott's going to go ahead and re-up the missiles, as understandably I'm used to the pink doors requiring 5 missiles, but apparently in this format it only requires 1 because the ammo is so minimal. So there's the screw attack back on. Scott taking a little bit of a dip in the acid. Also, you can't use supers to... Oh, it's because door rando. That's why you only need one. See, these, I will admit, Spike, are things to which I'm unfamiliar, as I came into the community and did some commentary for Sprat, and that is the format to which I'm most familiar, and frankly, that is the format to which my skill level barely qualifies. So let's hope that Scott doesn't fall the same fate here. Does have a little bit of reserve, but we're not sure how much. And back to Mother Brain, just waiting for the beam. And now here is the cutscene, and barring something disastrous on the escape, which better not happen, Fat Scott is going to take this race. Thankfully, the reload is going to be rather swift, as with only 4 energy tanks. Oh, it's done. That refilled about as quick as you could say Super Metroid Varia Randomizer. And bye-bye, baby. And you can get in on the randomizer fun and certainly make something considerably less challenging than this. If you go to varia.run, as you see the link there in chat, thank you, WJG. And also, the weekly Super Metroid Randomizer races, they are hosted by Sentient Flatbread, as you see here. And if you want to join in on one, you can join the Varia Rando Discord, and the link to that is in the chat as well. So here comes the countdown, which is 4.5 minutes. I guess in case entrances are shuffled, that would make sense. Oh, for Norfair output. Yeah, that would... I can see how that would take just a smidge longer. Well, Leslie, you can see on the screen here, so there was Mystery Chozo, less E-Tanks, we believe, but possibly yeah, either less E-Tanks or less miners, Door Color Rando, and Boss Rando. Oh, Meridia output, okay. So that explains the extra 1.5 time. I will honestly admit I did not know that was a thing that could happen. But I've said that about a few things here in this mystery seed. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are shuffled. Well, how nice that time stops while you're on the elevator. Yeah, it looks like the escape door, instead of leading to the shaft, yeah, the random. Okay, so randomized escape was part of it as well. That was another logic to which we were unfamiliar. But that being said, that is going to do it. Get out your GGs for Fat Scott 25, who has finished in first place and has finished with an official race time of 85 minutes and 14 seconds. And Scott is accepting an offer to interview, as he puts it here, for this particularly bad one, if I'm still allowed to. So looks like with that, we do have Scott in the broadcast booth. Congratulations and GG. And how does it feel to survive?
That scene was awful. It's just straight up awful. But what happened to everybody?
Well, there were a couple of people who were thrown off by the boss rando, and in both Jake and Flatbread's case, had taken some respective deaths pretty late on to where they didn't feel that the effort to make up that time in a fun weekly seed would have been very fun or enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, I see. So, I feel like I didn't play very well, to be honest with you. I almost died in Spiky Room. I got really scared there. And I went back to Dragon to get Spazer because I was afraid that I might get blocked going to Ridley, and then it just didn't matter. But I also got really lucky once I got, I think it was Wave. Or Plasma. When I got Plasma, I went back and ended up getting Ice from, I think it was Vontorzo. And then going back to Brinstar and getting Wave there, and then getting Charge, and then having full beam like that early, I felt I kind of really lucked out there, and that made the rest of the seed, for the most part, it was kind of a walk in the park after that for the most part. But near the beginning, it was like a very long loop around, and I thought I was playing really badly, but.
Well, I mean, looking at things here, so you were correct in Plasma, and then, yeah, Brinstar Reserve had Charge. That certainly helped. Bomb Chorizo was what had Wave Beam.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, there we go.
And, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of things that were in Brinstar. But it all started with Plasma at the Charge Beam for a lot of people. So you kind of needed to go the, as people call it, the reverse meme route to get Plasma, to then go to Bomb Chorizo and get Wave, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, that was definitely a roundabout way of doing all of that. The seed forced it, though.
Yeah, and then I believe from there, yeah, I think you had to go to Spazer to get the Varia suit, and then that would lead you to Wave Beam, which had gravity, and it was just, it was a bit challenging. Rusty would have finished probably, oh gosh, I'm going to have to go back in the room to look here as to when he had forfeited, but let's see, it was about 17 minutes ago. So, I mean, yeah, Rusty would have probably finished a good 12 minutes ago, or 12 minutes prior to you. But Rusty, having admitted that he was, pun completely intended, rusty and hadn't played in a while, had finished off Mother Brain and instinctively damaged down, but with only 3 energy tanks to boot, did not have enough energy to take the final beam.
Oh no.
And at that point, that set him so far back that he said enough of it and kind of went from there.
Well, I won't blame him for that one then.
Yeah, so I mean, chat noting, yeah, survived is a good way of putting it. Yeah, you're battling through attrition. I mean, despite how you had played and maybe had things been not as trolly and the other runners had finished accordingly, you probably would have taken fourth. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, as the old saying goes.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it's even better to be both, but that's a whole other story.
I was really without that high jump, man. Everything falls apart once I have no high jump. It's like my crutch, so I'm not surprised I was playing bad near the end there.
And of course, high jump is hidden behind Kraid, which was in Meridia, which was one of the last things that you needed at that point.
Oh.
Which actually, yeah, once you'd beaten Kraid, you said, I'm not going to bother. Yeah, I'm looking at Rusty's. Yeah, Rusty had picked it up and you hadn't. But yeah, once you defeated Kraid, right behind Kraid was the high jump boots.
Oh my god. All right. I checked Ridley Eatsink because I thought it might be there. I guess I should have done it for Kraid. Well, that would have been nice for the end, at least.
Yeah, one of those too little too late feelings, I would imagine.
Yeah, but other than that, well, I survived.
Exactly. It's a pretty good feeling. So I believe with that, let's see, WJG asking who we should raid as we're just about wrapping up with the interviews here. I don't know. I don't make enough to make those decisions.
I don't know. Could raid Behemoth.
Looks like, oh gosh, I always mispronounce this. Ryko Rider. Yeah, looks like we're going to head over on that way. But thank you so much for tuning in here. That's going to do it for us here at Speedrunners Arena. Make sure to check out the Discord for more races and randomness and everything of that nature. And for all of us here at Speedrunners Arena, for our tracker and restreamer WJG999, and for all of our racers, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time, stay classy, my friends, stay safe, and see you next mission. So long, everyone.